I said it's great to be a Tennessee Vol. I said it's great to be a national champion in baseball. Ba-bam. Big win last night by my Vols. We are actually on our way to Go Show a House, not on Insurance Channel, but Go Show a House. And then we're going downtown to the parade to celebrate the 2024 National Championship baseball team here in Vol Country. But I want to talk about some insurance when I got some windshield time. I have a lot of things on my list of things to talk about, some of which I can't really talk about as I'm going through really kind of like a major deal in shifting, or trying to get out of a contract that a company says, oh, we'll let you out, but yet it's taken them like the insane amount of time to get me basically a cancellation, right? So I don't want to talk about a lot of stuff until that's fully canceled and that's behind me. And I'll talk about, I've already done a video on kind of a mistake and how much it's cost. But again, learning experience, it is what it is. So what I want to talk about now is carriers, right? So carriers is actually the insurance company that you're going to pay your money, and the insurance company is going to cover you. Me, being an independent agent as a broker, I'm here to shop the carriers for you to find out who's going to give you the best deal. It's more my role, right, is to figure it out, versus you going one by one. You come to me and I can shop 30 carriers, for example. So in doing so, there's times when agents are offered what's called direct appointments, which is what I want, right? Me as an agent, I want direct appointments. Direct appointments basically means I can bind your policy. I can go in, I can mess with all the numbers and the data and move things around and give you every little detail possible. If you don't have a direct appointment, I'm relying on, and a big reason why I left the company, I'm relying on somebody else to go in there, do this for me, but it's on their schedule, their pace, which these people don't work like I work. That was very frustrating for me because people have questions like, I can't even go in and access anything. But if I have a direct appointment, I can. However, in doing so and getting direct appointments, a lot of these carriers will place minimum requirements on you. And I've had this conversation with carriers that I have gotten a direct appointment. I'll say the two big ones that I currently have that are standard companies, because that's the big thing, right? Is the standard companies is National General, which is Allstate, and most recently Progressive. So in doing so, there was conversations of, hey, listen, Stephen, this is our expectations for us to do a direct appointment. Do you think you can meet those expectations? And I had very honest conversations with these people, and they were talking about just mainly quotes, which is good, right? They're I haven't had a situation where they're putting a minimum amount on me, but I do know that does exist and probably will eventually happen to me. But as of right now, it's more so, hey, they just want to be given an opportunity to quote. And I'm like, yes, of course. Like, yes, I'm going to give you an opportunity to quote. It's not going to be my fault if you're not competitive, and I'm not going to recommend you when you don't have the best all-around quote for my client. So I'm not going to it is what it is. I'm doing this how I think it should be done. So and it's all worked out, right? They don't have a problem with it. And some, these carriers all like different types of businesses, and the same thing, the ones I don't have direct appointments with, I'm not telling people, hey, don't go with them, even though they give you the best deal. I'm saying, hey, yes, go with them, even though arguably you could be paid less, or it's no profit share, right? So profit share is something I really didn't know a whole lot about when I got into insurance. When I ran my numbers and talking to people, profit share was kind of nothing that was really, I'll say not black and white. You hear about it, it's a thing. It's a thing apparently that's very, very profitable, profit sharing. And people make a lot of money off of it, but there isn't like a black and white thing, I guess. But it goes with what's called an insurance, your book of business. And this is where I get into a problem of where independent agents might not do the right thing always because of profit sharing scenarios, because of minimums, if there's minimum requirements, right? And I'll just give you a quick example. Let's say a carrier says, hey, I need you to write, $20,000 a month in written premium, which is, I'm just making this up, $20,000 a month in written premium for me to maintain this relationship. You need to average, we'll just call it $250,000 a year in written premium with us, or we will not allow you to write appointments through us. Well, if I really wanted that carrier because they were a good carrier, right, and they were always competitive, sometimes it would incline an agent to push people that way to ensure those minimums are met, so you don't lose that carrier, right? So you can have people pushing you to maybe a situation where there's a better deal, but them as a business, not saying it's right, but them as a business what are we doing? In order to maintain that relationship, to offer it to other people. So that's a tough situation for an insurance person, right? I mean, you're kind of in a lose-lose. You're maybe not giving your client the best deal, or you're risking not being able to provide that carrier to all your clients, right? That's a tough spot for a person to be in. And again, I'm not in that situation with any carrier right now where there's a minimum requirement of business. Now they all say, we'd like to, you to quote so many times a month. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm not worried about that. I'll quote it all day long. I'm quoting it anyways. So that's not of my concern. And then you have profit sharing. And profit sharing, what they'll do is they'll say, and the number that I've been told, and again, this is the number that I've been told. Some insurance person might get on here and say, well, Steven, you're way wrong. And I'd be like, well, you're probably right. But what I've been told, it's about 50% in some scenarios of profit sharing of your business with them. So quick math, let's just say Progressive, right? Let's say by the end of the year, in commission checks, which I make about, I'm just going to ballpark it, somewhere between, I don't know what my Progressive commission is. I only pay attention. But on average, it's usually like 12 to 15%. So when doing your numbers, everybody always says do 12, because then you have all this stupid stuff on the back end. By the time it gets to you, it's 12. So doing 12, well, let's just say that, my commission check with Progressive was $5,000 of what I got paid, out of that. So that's probably right. Let's just say $50,000 of business. Would that be right? Yeah, close to it. Close enough. So if that was the case, and Progressive was profitable as a business, what they were looking to do is then look at my book of business, and is my book of business profitable? And this is where it gets in. I didn't know this at all. If my book of business, if I were $50,000 of Progressive business, but there's a couple accidents and there was $100,000 of payout, I have a negative book of business. Now I've got my commission checks and those aren't going away, but I would not profit share because I did not have a profitable Progressive business. But if I wrote $50,000 of Progressive business and I didn't have no claims and they were profitable, they may come back and again, the number that I've kind of been told is like, basically like almost 50%. So it might be an extra like $2,500 bonus if I was getting paid $5,000. And when you're talking a scalable insurance company, when you're talking, you've been doing this for years, you have a big book of business, right? You're writing, millions of dollars in premium, not commission, not what I would get paid, but millions of dollars of, your average house is $1,500, $2,000 a year in premium. So it doesn't take a ton to get to $1 million. But when you're doing that and you're scaling like that, profitability can be very lucrative and you can get paid big bucks off that. So on the flip side of that, when I was looking at that, so basically insurance agents are, in theory, inclined to tell their people never to do claims. Now, people are always going to do claims on like accidents and disasters, right? When they're losing, tens of thousands of dollars, and a lot of times even high thousands of dollars. But I think there is a legitimate area to where you should or shouldn't do claims. Now I'm going to give you an example that I just seen like 2 weeks ago. Didn't happen to me. I'm quoting this person. So most people, I usually recommend for homeowners, deductible would be $1,000. Some people want $500. Sure, that's up to you. If it's a $500 claim, knowing what I know about insurance, it is not worth it to file a claim. I would probably even say $2,500 of damages for me to be out of pocket. It's probably not worth me filing a claim. For one, my deductible is $1,000. I'm giving them $1,000. So already, so I'm basically only getting $1,500. And knowing what I know and how these insurance companies view claims, even when you're non at fault, even when it's a hailstorm and it ruins your roof and you file a claim, well, you didn't do anything. These insurance companies will penalize you. They will. I see it. Okay, so the example I was talking about, people moving here, got them under contract, real estate client, moving here from Arizona, have a home in Arizona. Well, in the last 5 years, they had 3 home claims. One was like like a crazy water problem. I didn't ask all the details on it. And then 2 windstorms damaged the roof. Well, not a lot of damage. Both, one claim didn't even pay out, but it was a claim. It didn't even pay out. So I was really confused on it. And again, that carrier, or that situation, who was giving her the best deal, I didn't have a direct appointment, so I couldn't access the underwriter, and I'm relying on the piece of the not so great workers. The one, so it's, look, again, very confusing. But yeah, the other 2 claims combined were less than $2,000. So because of this, when I went to a carrier without a direct appointment with and submitted, and I even was like, hey, it's not a big deal. Like, sure, she's got 3 claims for less than $2,000, and they denied her. Wouldn't even accept it. Too many claims. Don't even want it. So that's where I get into. There is a balance there of you can't have too many claims. But again, when you're talking, thousands and tens of thousands of dollars, yes, use insurance. That's what it's there for. But that's kind of what I view like I would be there for. And I'm not, my advice is not going to be triggered on, I do my numbers off getting paid the commission, right? That's how I would kind of run my business. If I run into some sort of profit share, I actually did get a profit share check because I did my own rental property with it. I think it's like $1,800 a year. And so the first 3 months of profit share, they sent me a check for $6 of my profit share. I had a good little kick out of that, but I have gotten one. That was pretty funny. But yeah, I do think there's a balance, and that's where I would come in of just, hey, it's a numbers play, right? And again, when hell, right? They may jack your rate up. You go to change, they may decline you. The next year, they literally may decline you. I had another client, again, kind of going off script here a little bit. Had them we saved them like $800 a year on their all around insurances, which is a ton of money. Great. Even gave them even better coverage. So it's a win-win. All of a sudden, we're 2 weeks into the policy. Home improvement company sends an inspector out, because we don't know this, neither does the client. And I guess there was just some junk in the front yard that wasn't there before, and again, would take maybe 30 minutes for the people to clean up. They just had it there piled up, basically waiting to take everything out, and they declined it. They literally said, we're going to give you guys a month, or we're going to end our coverage with you because we're considering you a high risk. I'm like, what the heck? So that's a tough conversation to have, again, with somebody who's trusting me, and we put them with a carrier, give them the best deal, and now the carrier's like, nah, we're out. So we got to find them another one. And I can tell you that was the cheapest by a long shot. So now, hopefully we can still save them some money from what they were originally paying, but they might go back, they might not save anything. And then they got the complications of it's paid out of escrow and who was paying who, and we had the cancellation. So it's just a lot of work for them. But yeah, I figured I'd share this with you because there's, insurance I'm learning stuff all the time, which is cool. I enjoy it, but it is very complicated because all carriers are different. Everything's weird right now. So yeah, that's all I'd say. Side note too, if you have kids and they're about to be teenagers and get their license, you better be ready for your insurance policy to triple, because I just seen that today. A guy that I ran quote for and got 2 new drivers on the policy, and